I want to start with Luke had just updated our um, Atlanta statistics. And I wanted to start with this chart right here. So you can see the comparison of last year's sales by month compared to this year's sales by month, this year being orange and last year being blue. And you can see we started out the year, January was down 32%. Then February was down 23. March was down 21, April 24, May 16, June 18th. And then I want to remind everybody there was a line in the ground right here between July and June, which is when the interest rates really changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So July was down 17%. And then September, as of today, he updated them today. August shows it was down 16% over last August. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, I think that from what I'm hearing, buyers are finally accepting the reality that 3% and 4% interest rates are not on the horizon. And one of the articles that you sent to discuss that we were talking about is buyers are moving because they have to. And I think it's starting to show. The reluctance is not as there. The drive isn't as there as it was in 2021. But those people that were waiting until 3% have accepted that that's not coming back.
100%. And, you know, we've talked about this. I use the analogy of gas prices, right? Like the gas prices go up $1. People get really irritated. They even post their opinions on social media. And a month or two later, they're all filling up their tank and they're not even paying attention. I filled up my tank yesterday. I couldn't tell you what the price per gallon was. I just filled it up. Right. And I do believe you're right, Jason. I believe the consumers are almost there around, if I want to buy a house, it just is what it is. Right.
Yep.
You know, I'm in the middle of getting a line of credit with a guy Mark Jones referred me to, and the rate on it is prime. And I thought, man, I never would have taken out a loan at 8.5% interest or whatever it is. And then I thought about it and I went, yeah, I'm going to use that to create something for myself. That's just the cost of the money. That's the cost of money. So if August is down 16% from last year, I actually think that was a win.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I think it speaks to this thought that people are getting used to the rates. I don't think they like them, but they're getting used to them. So then the question becomes, what will September look like? What will October, November, and December? I think we'll be down again in September, but I actually think we've got a real possibility of outperforming the fourth quarter from last year. I think the fourth quarter last year was the shock and awe period when people didn't know how to respond to the interest rates. And I think we're probably going to sell more houses this fourth quarter. My wild prediction, we'll see, right? The other thing that I think is really interesting, Jason, that Luke put together today, obviously anybody can create an account with us and log in and look at this, but I pulled days on market and compared it to last year. So January through, let's call it June, looked just what we expected. Days on market was a lot more than what it was the year previously. Yep. But look what happened to days on market in July and August. The gap got really tight. So the days on market for July this year was 11. August last year was 11. Right now it's 13. And September last year it was 14. So all of a sudden that gap has closed. But what does that mean?
I think that shows that buyers have recognized that buyer reluctant or that buyer's remorse from 2021, I think is settling in with the buyers of today, where they're really taking their time. They're not pulling the trigger as fast as they were, earlier this year and last year. And I also think that speaks to the number of transactions that are going back on market as well, where buyers are getting those inspection reports and going, no, I'm not spending this for that, and terminating the deal. The home goes back on the market, and therefore the days on market keep ticking.
Okay. Anybody else got a thought?
Mark Jones had.
It also means it was hot in July and August, so showing activity was down. Yeah, so I think this speaks to the relationship of supply and demand. And it was hot in August, and the showing activity was lower. So why would that mean the days on market would be lower, Mark?
Because instead of running right out and taking a look at something, people were like, I'll wait till the Saturday. Instead of in 2021, you didn't wait to go look at a property. And I've heard a lot of agents and buyers saying, we're going to take a look at it this weekend.
Yep. So it's moved up a little bit, but I also think it's moved down from the beginning of the year. So when properties were sitting for 30 days in January, we're now sitting at 13 days. So you've got the comparison from last year, where you're right, Mark. I mean, there was a FOMO market. It was a fear of missing out. It was an urgency market. It was a go find it as quickly as possible and get it under contract. And then this market, I'll get to it when I get to it, but it's still 13 days, which is crazy low.
Well, I mean,
can I say something, Brett?
Yeah, if I don't choke, yes.
Sorry. So what I've noticed, it's still, a beauty contest. The houses that are pretty are still going to have multiple offers and go above list. I recently had one where I was competing and it was 8 offers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a combination of those houses that are pretty and priced well, they're going to have multiple offers, and the ones that are okay, they may wait till the weekend.
Yep.
That's what I'm noticing.
So if you look here, I just pulled the chart masters for August. There's still almost 48% of the properties that are still going above list price. Is that shocking to you?
Nope.
Shouldn't be.
Nope.
It's a beauty contest, right? But that means if half the properties are still going above asking price, we're going to have low days on market until that stops, right? And all that means is, we're in a weird market is an easy way to say it. Like things are still moving pretty fast. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So let's hit some numbers here, Mr. Hammock. Right now, there are, let me get all these out of here. All right. We've got 780 active listings, 121 active under contract, 121 active under contract, 243 pending and 246 closed in Fulton County. If I remove the filling, what do we feel like's happening? It sure looks like that brown line is slowing down, the closing line. Like if I uncheck the rest of these, you can see that that line has started to come down, which is seasonal. We went up January, peaked in May, and we're coming back down. If you can kind of see, get your eyes to get a grip on what that looks like. But I actually think we're going to hold for a little while. And I think we're going to probably hold and then maybe go back up just slightly in the fourth quarter. We'll see. It depends on what interest rates do, obviously. But down here, you can see the actual stats for September 11th. 246 on the closing side, 243, which is a little lower on the pending side, but 780 on the active inventory is a pretty healthy inventory number. So then the question is, are there houses out there to sell?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jason, would you have said that a year ago?
Yeah. And to be completely honest with you, that's what I did say. Because last year I saw a lot of experienced agents that were freaking out with everybody else, and they turned into pumpkins earlier than they normally do in the fall. And we told the new agents in my program, go take your market share. And that's exactly what they did. There's homes to be sold, there's homes to be bought. And there's always that opportunity for the person that's going to go get it.
Yeah. I would tell you, by and large, most agents thought a year ago there really wasn't a lot on the market.
Yeah.
Meaning what came on the market went off the market so fast they didn't have opportunity. Well, right now there's opportunity.
Yep.
So you can go get it, right?
Absolutely.
All right. This graph is not working with me here. Let's go down here to the numbers. All right. DeKalb County, we've got 408 active inventory. Looks pretty consistent, but it's not drastically higher like Fulton County was. Active under contract, only 58. So in DeKalb, that's kind of low for active under contract. Pending's 147, slightly off. So I could, just knowing what we know right now, I could say DeKalb is slowed down. If I go to closings, it was 146, which is slowed down from the previous 7 days. Now, all that to mention, what happened in the last 7 days? Trick question here.
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
I was going to say football season started.
Let's see what we have. Football season, Labor Day. Let's see what next week brings. Because it could have slowed down because of the holiday weekend, right? If we hit Cobb.
And Brett, I do know a lot of listing agents are being a little bit more shy about putting things active under contract because deals are falling through during due diligence. They are leaving it active until they are out of due diligence.
Yeah.
So they're straight into pending.
Got it. All right. So 401 active in Cobb County as of today, which is healthier than what it's been. We've got 86 active under contract, which is kind of a little bit off, but not much of what it's been doing last week or last month. 153 on the pending is quite considerably lower than what they've been trending. And then closings on 193, it's kind of consistent with where it's been.
Mm-hmm.
So Cobb seems to be holding. Fulton seems to be holding. DeKalb seems to have slowed down. And asterisk, let's wait and see if it bounces back next week after Labor Day weekend. Capiche?
Peace.
All right. Couple cool articles. Where does Atlanta rank in the U.S. for the most spacious homes and lot sizes? Atlanta is the number 2 city for spacious living, according to a recent report from Storage Cafe, online platform that provides storage units listings across the nation. So do people get a lot of home for the money in Atlanta? We don't know that, but
Yes.
comparatively around the country, yes.
I was actually surprised that the average square foot was only 1,900
Yeah.
when you think of all of Atlanta.
Well, does that include basements? Good question. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the reality is, why is this important? I think it's an important feather to have in your cap. It's an important fact to be able to discuss when you're discussing with clients. Yet Atlanta's ranked the #2 city for spacious homes. Like we have a lot of square footage for the home and for the money here. If you look at the top 50, Raleigh, North Carolina came in at #1. And the only reason they came in at #1 was because the home square footage was the same, but they had the income was a little bit different, I think. But I mean, North Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Nebraska at 2,400 square feet.
Yeah.
But look at our lot sizes, 11,500 feet compared to the others. The only other city that the lot sizes were a little bit bigger was Nashville. See it?
Yep. And the article goes on to talk about how Atlanta City Council and other municipalities are really torn and debating density and fixing the housing issue with reducing or increasing our density.
Yeah. Well, why is that? How would you have that conversation?
There's only so much dirt.
There's almost so much dirt, and commuting dictates how far somebody can live from the city.
Right.
So at some level, new construction is becoming more and more abundant outside the center circle, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But the density is becoming a bigger issue inside the city circle. So what do they do to correct that? Townhomes, condominiums, ADUs, things like that, that allow people to have multiple residences on the same zoning, right? But anyway,
Right.
I think it was an interesting thing to have in your feather in your cap. Voluntary moves are gone. Whatever. You can still move if you want to, but there's not a lot of them. What would you say about this?
I don't remember when voluntary moves were really the key driver, you know? In
It
all
never was
honesty.
the key driver, but there was a percentage of the driven that made it because they wanted to. I wanted a bigger house. I wanted a pool. I wanted to live more rural. I wanted to have an extra property inside the city limits, right? I wanted a downtown condo. Now it's what do I have to do? And we've been talking about that on here. Like you can go down the list, but the easy ones are death, divorce, diamonds and diapers, right? Getting married, having kids, getting unmarried, or estate sales, right? All those things cause people to have to move. The question is, we all know it. The real question is, how do we put ourselves in that line of fire? How do we go get in the middle of that? Downsize, yes. So anyway, voluntary moves are gone, whatever. All right, this is the big one. Okay. So one of our competitors is a company called Anywhere, which Anywhere is the chunked up name of basically Coldwell Banker. And a couple of the other Realogy is what they used to be known as. But anyway, the big class action lawsuit, which the class action lawsuit is going after our industry and how we pay buyer agent commissions. Well, Anywhere decided to settle their portion of that class action lawsuit. Why is this headline news? And why the heck are we talking about it on this call, Jason? The purpose of bringing this up on this call is people are starting to throw the towel in around this litigation. What does that mean to us as real estate agents? It's going to disrupt how we do buyer agent commissions. And I'm going to give you the simplest explanation. Jason, I list your house for X percentage commission. I go put your house in the MLS and I offer a standard percentage commission to a buyer agent commission through the MLS. You as the seller had zero say in what I put in the MLS outside of just agreeing to it in your listing agreement. They believe that we're not serving the sellers well by our business practices of just putting a cooperating commission in the MLS. There's some arguments on both sides. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you want to live in naivety, feel free. But I do believe that some point in 2024, we will probably be negotiating for buyer agent commissions. And I'm not scared of it. I'm want to be, as me and all the team leaders and the leadership and the productivity coach, we're going to be front edge of it. And we're going to have strategies, plans, and make sure our agents are most equipped to deal with this. And I'm not going to be scared to talk to you about it. It has the potential to change how we do business. I think people are starting to throw the towel in, and that just means that it could come faster than we're all ready for. But that's besides the point. Make sense? Anything you'd add on that?
I would just say we have been talking about this for a minute. The solution to this on the ground is know your value proposition. If you have value and you provide value, then you're going to get paid. And the agents that are afraid of that should be, because if they don't know what their value proposition is, then they shouldn't get paid.
We'll send all those to you, sir. Everybody else we'll get there. All right. So here's saying your Chart Masters reports are out. Your offices should all have copies of these. I haven't seen anything crazy shocking. I'm seeing about just under 2 months inventory in most price ranges. I am still seeing 50% absorption rate, 48% still going above asking price. 28% of listings are still failing. That's a shocker to some of you.
That's actually
and then
lower than that's lower than it's been.
Yeah. And overall, we already talked to you about the days on market. You're looking at what was it, 13 days on market, 14 days on market as of the end of or what we're at I'm sorry, we're at 13 days on market at the end of August. And last year in September, it was 14. So it shouldn't feel any different than it did last year. Make sense? Thoughts, questions, comments? Mark, any context you'd add around any of that? He laughed on me. Didn't he? All right, fine. We don't need it. All right, Jason, question.
Yeah.
I'm an agent and I'm wanting to learn statistics. What's the best way to learn it?
The best way to learn it is is partner with someone that does know it well and focus on the true numbers that consumers understand. So sales price, days on market are the two big ones that I say focus on. And then the best thing to do is pick one neighborhood and start there, because it is still specific neighborhood to neighborhood. You have the general numbers, but what's happening everywhere else is going to be different. And Natalie, you're absolutely right. Come to Industry Update every
Yes.
week, or
Thank
watch
you.
it on YouTube, on Heart of Atlanta Group YouTube channel. Subscribe and save. But those are the stats that I'd really focus on and just chunk it down.
Yep. And I would tell you, make sure you're signed into the realestatestats.com, create an account on here. Luke updates these every month. And don't forget to read the commentary. The commentary tells you in sentence form what you're looking at. So we try to highlight what we're seeing in the commentary so it doesn't just look like a graph you're looking at. Make sense?
Yep.
All right.
All right. Mark,
We start and end on time. Have a good one.
All righty. Bye, guys.